All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Kind of a Bitch. We are halfway through December, which means we are mere moments away from 2026. And that means I'm sure you are having similar conversations as well. A lot of the discussions that I'm having in my life are around New Year's resolutions, what we are changing for the new year, what the new year is going to hold for us. So, I want to talk about New Year's resolutions and manifesting because I think that people get stuck in the same two camps almost every year. One camp is manifesting. I'm using quotation marks. Everyone thinks visualize it, believe it, trust the universe. But the other camp is goals, discipline, hustle, just work harder, right? And then everyone wonders why they feel frustrated, broke, or burned out by February. But here is the truth: manifesting without action is just wishing, dreams, and goals without vision are just busy work. They are not opposites, they are incomplete without each other. So let's talk about why manifesting alone does not work. Manifesting, this is all my opinion, has been watered down into thinking, like thinking about it. The quotes here that what I'm hearing people say is if I just believe hard enough, it will show up. If I put it on my vision board, it will happen. If I write it in my journal, if I write it in present tense, it will happen. If I just feel aligned, the action will come later. The action will happen later, right? But the universe does not respond to vibes. No, it responds to patterns. What you do consistently is the clearest signal you can send. If your vision says abundance, but your action says scarcity and burnout, avoidance, overgiving, overspending, whatever that looks like, the message is mixed. This is not the universe testing us, though. This is simply misalignment. Now, what about goals? I don't think that goals alone work either. Goals, hustle, grind, goals fail when they feel disconnected from desire. We hear that story all the time where someone has worked their way up the corporate ladder. They have done everything, quote unquote, right, but they are still unsatisfied or they feel empty. And that's because those goals are not connected to an actual desired vision. When they come from comparison, when they come from trying to look successful instead of building something actually sustainable for you personally, you can work really, really hard, but build the wrong life, you know? And hard work alone does not create the life that you want. I really believe that. It creates the life that you're aiming at. But if you never chose the target, you just kind of get really good at getting there, but you're not actually getting to a place you want to go. You know what I mean? Manifesting is vision and belief, while goals are structure and action. The bridge between the two of those things has to be identity. Okay. Identity, who we think we are. Instead of asking, what do I want? Like, what would make my life better? What do I want? We ask, who would I need to be for this life to feel normal? I love this question because it's a little bit like asking yourself, what would my highest self do in this situation? Or if I think about my highest self, how would she show up today and show up as her? There's a lot of memes about this. And I love that because I think when you visualize yourself, when you see yourself as the best version of yourself, you do want to show up more as her and do the things that you feel she would do. But that question turns manifesting into something that's more embodied. You're not waiting for proof, you are becoming the proof. This conversation comes up so much in my own life, all the time, and this is something that my husband and I were just talking about the other day. We have very different instincts when it comes to spending. His philosophy is a little bit more like spend now to make more. Okay, like if we spend on the new computer, it will make you more efficient so that you can be more productive. If you buy a new car, you'll enjoy driving, so you'll work more. Or if you buy the right tools, it will enhance what you're already doing. The idea is that the upgrade unlocks the next level. And while I do see some truth in that, I don't think that that's false at all. I think though that my instinct is different. I believe in proving that you can sustain something before you invest in the upgrade. So this came down to like hiring a coach. I remember when I was looking at hiring a coach, and they always ask, before you hire a coach of any kind, a business coach, a fitness coach, a life coach, whatever you're planning on doing, are you coachable? Like, are you ready to be coached? Because people often hire a coach thinking that that coach is going to give them all the answers. They're just going to set them up and tell them what they need to do. But if you're not already good at taking action on those things, a coach isn't going to be able to make you do that. It is simply a landing space for you to reflect and have some accountability, but they're not going to be the ones to somehow unlock everything. And so yeah, I am a little bit more along the lines of show me the consistency first, show me the pattern, and once I know that that's there, then I want to invest. And this is coming up specifically because I am really interested in buying a new car. I have a car on my list. My husband and I are a one car family, and we've been that way for a little while now. But it's getting to the point where we probably do need another car. And I've been driving the same Honda for a long time, and I'm in real estate, and I would be lying if I mean this is something I notice when I pull up to my multi-million dollar homes where I'm showing my clients. Uh yeah, I mean I think it feels a little different showing up in a BMW or a Lexus or something instead of a Honda. And while I wish that I didn't totally feel that way, I do. I notice it in my clients, especially the ones who are in a much higher tax bracket than I am. But that said, I hear myself say that and I go, well, you're also kind of assuming that they're in a higher tax bracket. I don't know that. I mean, there's no way that we can determine what people are driving based on what they make. But anyway, I digress. This constantly comes up in real estate because I see people buying fancy cars thinking that it will help them sell more. You see a new agent who has done one deal and does not have a network, does not have a sphere, does not do that much business, and they buy themselves a car that is going to cost them a couple $1,000s a month to pay for the mortgage and the loan and maintain, thinking that that is what is going to get people to purchase with them. But the car is not the thing. The car is not the thing. The clients do not hire you because of your car. They hire you because of your consistency. They hire you because of your follow up, because of your confidence, your communication, the ability that you have to show up the same way every time, or the ability to be agile and problem solving and transparent, right? And the car is the reward for that behavior. The car is the proof of that behavior. You buy the car because you've built something because of the consistency, right? That's sort of where I come from. It's the car is not the behavior itself. And that's kind of what I mean about a coach or a computer or a new insert anything here. And here we are also in prime buying season. And my family has opted not to do gifts this year. We are doing a secret Santa, buying one gift for one person in the family. And that was my idea because I am tired of collecting more. I'm tired of making a list of the things that I don't really need, but that will be kind of cool to have. But I look around my house and I go, I actually don't know if I need more. We have so much stuff in here. And so many things we buy something and then we say to ourselves like, oh, that's not exactly right, and then we buy something else it's a little bit better, but now we have two of the same thing, and it's honestly it's driving me nuts, you guys. It's driving me nuts. So I just don't want to get in the habit of believing that the next thing will be the thing that makes me successful, that the next thing will be the thing that makes me happy. And so when I was talking with my husband about buying a car, he said, "Well, like, let's go for it. And then, don't you think that that will make you feel like more excited to drive and more excited to show up?" And I think there is some truth in that. But I just think it's a slippery slope of moving into the habit of getting things for yourself, thinking that it will be the motivator when you haven't really built the habit that will be able to sustain that choice. So, yeah, I guess all I'm saying is buying the car without consistency is just pretending, and I think that people can feel that. So let's tie this back to manifesting. I think this is where manifesting can go wrong. People try to buy the outcome instead of becoming the person. They want the symbols of success before the habits of success. They want the status of success before the actual actions that are required for success. Manifesting is not about skipping steps. It is about aligning your identity with your actions. It's belief that is built through evidence, right? And evidence comes from what you are doing repeatedly, what you're doing consistently. And it might not even be perfect, but it's just consistent. You don't manifest abundance by looking abundant. It just it doesn't work like that. You manifest by operating like someone who expects abundance and sustainability and continued cycling of funds, abundance, love, whatever is in your world, in your definition of abundance. So here's the actual practice, my kind of a bitch crew. First and foremost, we need to decide the identity. Who are you practicing being this year? Who are you practicing being? This is one of the first years that I've done a vision board, and I really liked that because I think that was the first part of creating the vision, the why behind why you want to get there. Because that's another thing that we, I think, fall into. Like I said in the beginning, if you're working towards a goal, if you're just hustling, working towards a big goal without the desire, the vision, the want behind that, the you're kind of working towards something that was actually somebody else's goal, what you thought should be your goal, and it's not going to feel as satiating when you get there. But starting with this vision board, I went over to one of my lenders' house with a bunch of other women, and we sorted through books and magazines, and I put together my board, and I'm not quite done with it, but I like it because it's a vibe, right? Like I am looking at the board gives me a feeling. It gives me kind of this heart string tug feeling that I go, yeah, like I want that. I want that. And because I feel so excited by that vision, the action feels easier. And this is one of my favorite things that I did with an old coach of mine. I have shared this before on this podcast, I am sure. But we sat down and he asked me to write what he called a vision story. And the vision story, you write a day in the life of like your most ideal day. Your most ideal day. And the ask is that you get specific. It's I've asked people this, like, what's your ideal day before? And no offense to the men, but it's often men who are like, I don't know, I just want to wake up and like watch TV all day. And I'm like, no, you don't. You never feel that good after that. There is no way that that is your ideal day. You don't go to bed after a day of lying on the couch and not changing out of your pajamas and be like, nice. Like, that's not, you want that to be your life for the rest of your life. Ugh, obviously, you can tell I was annoyed in that conversation. But the idea is that you get up and it's your ideal day in a realistic life, in the life that you want. It includes maybe work, it includes people, it includes habits, the stuff that, are you working with your trainer? Are you, do you have a home chef? Do you make your own yogurt? Like there's all these things that can kind of come up. How does it feel as you come into consciousness? So when I wrote mine, I got really specific, and I started with what it felt like to lie in my bed. If you are someone who's listening, you're not seeing me do this, but I have my eyes closed because I was trying to write the way that I would see it in my eyes. And so I wrote it from the perspective of my eyes being closed when I came into consciousness, and I can feel the lightness in the bedroom. I can smell the coffee that is brewing downstairs. I can, hear the dog clippy clopping his little, nails down on the hardwood. And when I open my eyes, this is what I see, right? It's going from detail to detail, so that if someone who wasn't in my brain read it, they would see and feel what I was saying as well. And if you get really specific like that, that really, the feeling that I had writing this, it was bunch of pages long. It was very long. And it was just one day, but it was very detailed from minute to minute, from hour to hour. And I loved it. But when I still think about that, it gives me a feeling. And that is the feeling that I want for my life. Are the details 100% perfect? No, no, because we have to be open. We have to be agile when it comes to life changing, right? If a goal or a dream or a desire changes, we have to be able to move with that. And so saying I'm not saying things like I want to sell 25 houses. No, I'm saying I want to make this much money through real estate. Now that means that I might sell a really high price point home and then like three really small ones so that my numbers are a lot lower. That might mean that I do less sales but more referrals, but either way I'm reaching the income number, right? It's not 100% exactly perfect, this many homes versus, because that's too condensed. There's too many limitations in that. And so I like to be a little bit more vague, but the feeling is there, the essence is there. So, anyways, if you are still with me here, first and foremost, we need to decide the identity. You need to um, really build the feeling of that identity. Who are you practicing being this year? You can name the vision. And this is where that vision story might come in. How does life feel when that identity is true? How does life feel when that vision is true? And now that you've created this, like let this be a whole practice. You can zoom back and choose one embodied action, a small one embodied action, one behavior within that identity that proves the belief. So for me at that time, it was meditating for 10 minutes in the morning. That's it. Meditating for 10 minutes. And I think I actually did 5 minutes of meditating and then 5 minutes of journaling. So it was like 10 minutes total of a morning routine because I don't have time to do 2 hours of a morning routine. And as much as I would love that, and that sounds really fun, I know that's not realistic to me. So making that goal for myself would be insane. I'd be setting myself up for failure. And that's how we get to a burned out February. So, this behavior that proves the belief, it's not flashy, it's not overly impressive, it's just consistent. We are just going for consistency. Then you repeat that until it feels normal. And that is manifesting, but with receipts. I was talking with a girlfriend years ago about fitness, and for those of you who don't know me, my background is in performance, and I struggled for years and years and years with disordered eating, and my primary elimination of choice was laxatives. So I was someone who would binge, and then I would take boatloads of laxatives. It was super bad for my system, but it was the mid 2000s and I was terrified of gaining weight. It wasn't good for my body. It wasn't good for my mind. And I'm sure it wasn't good for my soul. And now, as someone who's stepped out of the performing world, and my career is no longer determined by the shape of my body, I have gained so much freedom in that. And when I first started working with my personal trainer, I just told her I number one, I need to work with a woman, but number two, I can't talk about weight or nutrition right now. I just can't. I'm going to get really restrictive and really intense, and I just can't do it. So I only want to focus on strength. She said, awesome, no problem. We can do that. How many days a week do you want to work out? And I said, let's start with one. Let's start with one day. And it was the day that I went and trained with her. Because I knew if I said two, the likelihood that it was going to be two would be low. Like it would be easy for me to fall off that train. So for almost 2 years, I worked out with her one day a week. And the rest of the time, I would maybe go to a class or I would go for a walk. And I wasn't tracking anything. My only goal was to get one session in with her a week. And after doing that and showing up that way for a long time, it then turned into let's focus on eating more protein. Let's focus on eating more, right? And it's slowly built. And now I'm much more consistent. My nutrition is better. I'm able to talk about that. There's not the same gravity around that topic because I'm able to show up in this consistent way for myself. It wasn't impressive, it wasn't flashy, but it was consistent. And I repeated it for years. Now we're past year 4 at this point. We're in year 5 of training with my trainer. And now finally it feels consistent. And it might not take you that long. It might take you only a minute, but I really do believe that this whole idea of doing things like 75 hard, that just feels like another binge option for someone like me. I look at that and I go, oh, yeah, that's just 75 days of being really hard on myself, of quote unquote detoxing, which I think is absolute crockery. Multiple workouts in one day. One of them needs to be outside in this weather. There's no way I'm doing that. And then if you mess up once, you have to start over from the beginning. Oh my God. To me, that just sounds like setting yourself up for no grace and for definite failure. And congrats to those who make it through. But I don't think that that is a realistic way of looking at goals or manifesting. I think that is a punishment. So I really do think that goals and manifesting, it is that perfect mix of consistent action and vivid vision and identity within that. So you do not need a better vision board. But if you want to do one, I would highly recommend, because I did think it was quite fun. And you don't need fancier, more restrictive or intense goals. You need alignment. What are you trying to look like you have already earned? And what would it look like to actually earn it instead? Because you're not manifesting what you want, you are manifesting what you consistently practice. Wow, that felt nice to get out. I'm feeling good about that, you guys. I'm feeling good. All I'm saying is we've got 16 days until the new year. And I am someone who gets really jazzed. I love a new year. I don't know if it's the Capricorn in me. I don't know, but I love it. I feel energized. I feel excited for the new year to come up. And this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. But I also believe in the power of being gentle and giving yourself grace in moments like this, because it is very hard to change your way of being. So if you have something that you are working for this next year, and maybe perhaps you're starting now, maybe you're getting the ball rolling now, but maybe you aren't, maybe you're just enjoying the holiday season. And to that, I say, enjoy. But I'm hopeful that this episode has given you a little something to chew on, so that once that new year hits, you are feeling a little more capable, a little more excited to set goals and manifest in a healthier way. With that, thank you wherever and whenever you're listening, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.